The story begins as two young girls rush through a storm. They hurry into a small roadside store, and the younger girl spots something she wants. She asks her older sister to buy it, but the older girl refuses, saying it's too expensive. They need to save every dollar for New York. The younger sister doubts they'll escape, afraid their father will find them, beat them, and lock them in the basement again. The older girl calms her, insisting that life is over now. She shows off a fresh tattoo of a birdcage, promising no one will cage them ever again. But then the doorbell rings. Their father, a violent and abusive man, storms inside demanding to know where they are. The store manager points toward the back. The father calls out, pretending he isn't angry. An alarm sounds and both girls bolt for the exit. Their father's accomplice tries to cut them off. The older sister pulls a gun on her own father, warning him he'll never touch her sister again. A struggle erupts and the gun fires. The father collapses, leaving both girls in shock. Sirens approach as the scene shifts to a rainy night in Manhattan. A young woman named Isabel Davison, the new maid, arrives at a grand old building called the Virgil. Lily Woodhouse, the building's superintendent, greets her and checks her ID. Lily explains the Virgil was built in 1923 in a dangerous neighborhood, but gentrification turned it into one of Manhattan's most exclusive addresses. Lily asks Isabel to surrender her phone for the residents' privacy. Inside, Lily introduces Miss Sharon, owner of Eternus Anti-Aging Cosmetics, along with Dr. Sheepman, a kind resident, and his wife Anne, a writer. Anne notices Isabel's bruised eye and says there's no shame in admitting trouble. Dr. Sheepman chuckles, apologizing for his wife's bluntness. Lily, the building superintendent, leads Isabel downstairs, explaining the first floor is reserved for service staff. Isabel asks how long Lily has worked here, and Lily scoffs that it feels like an eternity. In the dining area, residents gather for a celebration. Damien, a rude young boy, belches and calls Isabel Piggy. Lily scolds Damien, then tells Isabel the residents celebrate a maid's dedication tonight. Lily proudly says these people arrived broken and lost, and she gave them a place to belong. At Isabel's new room, Ray, Lily's husband, stumbles out drunk. Lily orders Ray to steer clear of new arrivals, but Ray tells Lily to leave him alone. Lily reminds Ray she's still his boss and his wife. Lily apologizes to Isabel, warning her husband says crazy things and leaves frightening objects around. Lily promises a key and full tour tomorrow, then says goodnight. Alone in her room, Isabel unpacks her bag. That night, strange thuds echo through the walls. Isabel hears heavy banging and gasps. She steps into the dark hallway to investigate. A door slams somewhere ahead. Isabel calls out but gets no answer. Shaken, she retreats to her room and locks the door. Isabel tries her lighter repeatedly, hands trembling in the darkness. A lock clicks and rattles from somewhere unseen. Someone snores softly nearby as tension fills the building. The threat inside the Virgil grows closer, with every passing moment. Isabel wakes to rasping breathing in the darkness, a shadowy figure looming over her bed. The figure grunts and grabs her, pinning Isabel down as she gasps in terror. Isabel struggles against the attacker on the creaking bed, both of them grunting as she fights back. She breaks free momentarily, but heavy thudding echoes through the room. Isabel keeps swinging, desperate to survive. She lands a hard blow, dropping her attacker. A man announces she's out, but another voice says he's out too, asking why he didn't wait, accusing him of assaulting the victims. Sharon, the building's glamorous resident, complains about a stain on her jacket, furious that Isabel knocked out a man named Bob. Isabel screams as she regains consciousness and sees the group surrounding her. Sharon calls out to Isabel, demanding she come out from hiding. Isabel curses at them defiantly from her hiding spot. Sharon insists it's just one girl, but someone reminds her what Isabel did to Bob. A man finds Isabel and chuckles, saying gotcha. But Isabel swings a blade, making Sharon gasp. Isabel fights multiple attackers at once, slashing wildly. Sharon screams as blood splashes across the floor. The brutal brawl continues with Isabel refusing to go down. Isabel drives a blade into one attacker, who lets out an agonized yell. She stands panting over the fallen group. That's when a gun clicks behind her head. Sharon grunts and strikes Isabel, who cries out in pain. Isabel slashes at Sharon with the blade, but Sharon screams and fights back. Bob charges in, shouting unintelligibly as the struggle intensifies. Isabel exhausts herself, and Sharon's group finally pins her down. Sharon slow claps mockingly, admitting that was unexpected. Sharon tells Isabel she clearly wasn't honest about herself. Isabel fires back that Sharon lied too, and Sharon agrees they're both liars. Sharon demands to know who Isabel really is. In a flashback, Asia Reeves, Maria's older sister, reveals her painful truth. 10 years ago, she abandoned Maria during their escape. Their abusive father survived, and Maria was returned to his custody. Asia eventually landed in prison, desperate to make things right. Inside prison, a private investigator Asia hired shows her Maria's last known photo. He tracked Maria's phone to an exclusive Manhattan building called the Virgil. The investigator warns that workers the Virgil hires often go missing, mostly minorities and undocumented people. He also discovered that Lily recently offered a cleaning job to someone who knew Maria. Asia intercepts the real applicant, Isabel Davison, at her door. Asia introduces herself and demands her sister Maria back. Asia warns that if Maria is dead, there will be consequences. Back in the present, Sharon calls Asia an avenger and offers to help, but says she has an unusual family with unusual needs. An empty hallway inside the Virgil. Dark-cloaked residents emerge from doorways. Sharon's wounds crackle and heal. Just a flesh wound. Lily shouts to grab the blade as Asia fights desperately. Sophia, a loyal maid, tackles Asia to the ground. Damien, Sharon's impolite son, screams at Asia about his mother. Asia breaks free, calling Damien a little shit. Lily calmly tells Sophia to clean up the blood once she resurrects. Lily casually orders Sophia to clean up the blood once she resurrects, confirming these residents truly cannot stay dead. Asia watches in horror as Sophia's wounds heal before her eyes. She screams and bolts through the hallway. Lily announces the building is locked down and Asia can't escape. Asia barricades herself behind a door and refuses to surrender. Lily warns that nobody gets out alive. Asia struggles desperately to find another way out. Lily orders Steve, one of her men, to break the door down. Asia manages to pry open a vent and squeeze through. The residents pound at the door behind her. Asia drops into a hidden crawl space below the building. She crawls through the dark passage, panting with fear. Above her, Lily tells Kevin, another of Sharon's accomplices, to keep the escape quiet before tonight's ceremony. Kevin questions whether they can hide this, but Lily snaps back when they owe an offering tonight. Kevin mentions Asia's captive sister, Maria. That's when Lily hears scraping beneath the floor. Asia bursts from hiding. Lily screams to grab her. Kevin corners Asia and slashes her arm. Asia rips into Kevin's flesh, tearing free. Sharon charges after Asia through the corridors. Sharon laughs and taunts Asia toward a dead end. Asia turns and attacks Sharon with a blade. Sharon collapses, but moments later regenerates again. Sharon grabs Asia, growling that she's sick of being killed. Asia gasps as Sharon's body fully reforms before her eyes. Asia screams and stumbles backward in pure terror. Asia hides in the darkness, catching her breath. When Ray, Lily's husband, grabs her from behind, Ray tells Asia he left her a warning on the mirror. Asia demands to know what's happening in this building. Ray explains the Virgil is a temple for Satan, built over a century ago. The founders made a deal with the other side: immortality in exchange for human sacrifices. As long as a member's name stays on the list, that person cannot die. They lure in vulnerable people and turn them into offerings. Loyal servants like Lily can climb the ranks and join the family, but anyone who fails gets erased from the list, becoming mortal again. Asia asks how to kill the immortals, and Ray says she can't, only slow them down. Even a single slice of skin will regenerate on its own. Ray leads Asia deeper into the building, past a floor dedicated entirely to carnal pleasures, one of many vice floors for the bored immortals. Asia asks why Ray is helping her despite being one of them. Ray simply says he has his reasons. That's when they reach a locked door with a woman pounding from inside. It's Maria, Asia's younger sister, alive. The two sisters embrace, stunned to see each other. Asia tells Maria the whole building is a satanic cult, but Maria already knows. Meanwhile, in a flashback, a man named Richie, Maria's former boss, corners Maria in his office. Richie demands Maria prove her gratitude with more than just words, his menacing tone making his intentions unmistakably clear. Asia's sister Maria refuses to leave, declaring the Virgil her home now. Maria tells Asia she's not going anywhere. Asia insists she won't leave without her sister, but Maria fires back, asking if Asia thinks she needs her. Maria reminds Asia how she abandoned her as a child, left her alone while their father beat her during Asia's prison time. Maria tells Asia she's too late and doesn't need her anymore. Asia asks if Maria knows what she went through to find her, but Maria curses her out and the sisters explode at each other. Ray, Lily's husband, notes family reunions can be challenging. Ray warns Asia the building is a death trap with shatterproof windows. He mentions a fire escape ladder on the roof past the 9th floor. Ray agrees to help, but suddenly someone attacks Asia. Steve, one of Lily's men, spots Asia and alerts the others. Steve announces Asia found her sister. Asia fights through residents in the elevator. Lily declares she's done and wants everyone mobilized. She calls Ray a traitor for helping Asia escape. Asia struggles to reach the upper floors with Maria. A gun clicks as someone corners them. Asia trembles, shielding Maria from the threat. A brutal fight erupts on the stairwell. A body slams to the ground with a heavy thud. Back in the stairwell, Lily confronts Ray directly. Ray tells Lily he's tired of paying the bill with blood. Ray confronts Lily, confessing he's tired of paying with blood, but Lily reminds him their sacrifices span over 100 years. Ray argues their victims are now good people. But Lily insists the world isn't fair and she didn't make it so. Lily recalls how the Virgil family accepted them when the whole world turned against them, but Ray calls the Virgil a prison, not a home. Lily warns Ray to think carefully about his next move, claiming this prison belongs to her. Lily broadcasts an announcement to every tenant in the building, identifying Asia Reeves by name and dropping her photo in the group chat. Lily disables the elevators and orders every floor to hunt Asia down alive, promising to personally sacrifice Asia to their lord. Meanwhile, Maria urges Asia toward the elevator shaft, offering to distract the residents so her older sister can escape. Asia reluctantly parts from Maria, but then Asia hears Maria screaming. Asia rushes back and fights multiple attackers in the hallway. The immortal residents keep coming, laughing eerily as they regenerate. Maria struggles against captors dragging her away. Asia screams and charges at the attackers, battling through wave after wave of residents. Exhausted and bloodied, Asia demands to know how many more there are. As one attacker's flesh sizzles from a wound that won't stop him, Asia burns an attacker, sending him screaming in agony. The two fighters clash violently in the hallway. Dr. Sheepman begs Asia to stop, insisting the residents are actually nice, and reminding her they spared Maria. Asia finds Maria, and the sisters embrace. Maria apologizes for everything, but Asia tells her it's okay. Maria insists Asia should have left her behind, but Asia refuses. Meanwhile, Lily checks the floors with her people. Asia and Maria hide as cultists search nearby. Maria tends to Asia's wound. Asia asks where Maria learned to fight. Maria says prison. Asia admits their father died of cancer 2 years ago. Asia apologizes for abandoning Maria, leaving her unprotected from their abusive dad. Maria, Asia's younger sister, tells Asia she can't fix the past. Asia says she needed Maria to know before they might die tonight. Cultists guard the exits, trapping both sisters inside the Virgil. Asia and Maria push forward through the building. A cultist fires. The bullet ricochets. Maria screams for Asia to shoot back. Asia fights hand to hand, throwing the man down. Maria yells for Asia to run, but Lily corners them on the rooftop. Asia threatens to jump off the ledge, ruining Lily's sacrifice. Lily mocks Asia and asks if she knows what deal Maria made. A flashback shows Lily offering to spare Maria if Maria pledges loyalty and puts her name on the sacrifice list. Lily explains the deal's terms. Maria must kill her sacrifice, trading one death for one life to earn immortality. Maria confesses she committed her soul to the devil, and the real Isabel Davison was supposed to be her sacrifice. But Asia showed up instead, and now Maria's time has run out. Without a sacrifice tonight, Maria is dead. Lily orders her men to take the sisters away. They drag Asia through the building. Asia winces in pain as they force her forward. Lily leads them deeper into the Virgil to meet the head. She warns Asia to play along. Inside a dark chamber, a monstrous figure awaits. Lily addresses her demonic lord, offering Asia as a new sacrifice. Lily also presents Ray and Maria as traitors. The head snarls and orders Lily to kill Ray or die herself. Lily, Ray's own wife, plunges a blade into him. But then the head turns to Maria, demanding Maria prove her loyalty by killing her own sister. Maria apologizes to Asia, then signs her name for the head, sealing the demonic contract as the head chuckles with satisfaction. The head commands Maria to seal the deal, and Maria whispers she wishes they had more time. Maria slashes Asia with a blade, believing this is the only way. Asia collapses, and Maria weeps over her sister's body. The head demands to know if Asia is dead, but suddenly Asia gasps back to life. Maria sacrificed one life for one life, her own death, to make Asia immortal. Lily screams that Maria traded herself for Asia's immortality. The head roars for someone to erase Maria's name from the contract. Now immortal, Asia fights back with fury. Asia battles Lily and Sharon's accomplice Bob at once. Bob begs the head for help, but Asia overpowers him. Bob collapses, choking, as the head roars in rage. The monstrous head draws a sword and snarls at Asia. Asia charges the head in a brutal duel. The head mimics Maria's voice, taunting Asia that Maria died because of her. Asia tells the head to leave her sister alone, then drives forward with a furious strike. Finally, Asia demands her sister back from the head, but the head reminds Asia of the deal: one death for one life. Asia refuses those terms and attacks the demonic creature. During the struggle, Asia clicks a cigarette lighter, setting the head ablaze. The burning creature thrashes in agony. The head chokes and collapses, but manages to snarl a final threat, promising to see Asia in hell. Asia fires back defiantly as the head's screams fade. Asia warns any survivors to clear out of the Virgil. Outside, Asia stumbles from the burning building, where her private investigator waits in shock, asking what happened inside. Asia simply answers, "Rich people." The investigator offers condolences for Maria's death, but then something impossible happens. Maria gasps back to life. Asia's sacrifice worked. Maria is alive again. Asia explains she took Maria's identity and killed everyone responsible. Asia hugs Maria, promising never to leave her again. The bewildered investigator gives up trying to understand, starts the car, and asks where they're headed. Maria just wants breakfast, as far from here as possible. But back inside the ruins, the head stirs once more, slashing and screaming, still alive. The nightmare may not truly be over.